In a world of noise, distractions, and constant emotional turmoil, the ability to think clearly is not only rare, it is a superpower. For the Stoics, clear thinking wasn't just a mental exercise. It was a way of life, a path to virtue, a method of navigating chaos with calm, confusion with clarity, and adversity with unshakable resilience. Today, we explore the Stoic approach to the discipline of clear thinking. From the minds of ancient philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, to practical tools we can apply today, this is your guide to mastering your mind. 1. What is clear thinking? Clear thinking is not just about intelligence. It's about perception. The ability to see things as they are, untainted by emotion, ego, or bias. The Stoics referred to this as right reason, a way of aligning thought with nature, logic, and virtue. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "If you are troubled by external events, it is not the events themselves that disturb you, but only your judgment about them. And you can wipe this out at a moment's notice." Clear thinking is this wiping out, the conscious act of stripping away our distorted interpretations to see what truly is. Think of it like cleaning a fogged mirror. When you wipe away assumptions, emotional residue, and fears, you begin to see reality clearly. To the Stoics, that clarity wasn't just peaceful, it was powerful. Let's imagine a typical scenario. You've just lost your job. The immediate reaction might be panic, frustration, or blame. But a Stoic would step back. They would ask, what part of this can I control? What does this mean? What judgment am I placing on this event? This doesn't mean the Stoic feels nothing, but rather, they choose to respond with wisdom over impulse. Daily clear thinking also involves practical actions. Breathing deeply. Pausing before reacting. Using logic to evaluate your beliefs. Asking questions like, is this thought helping me or hurting me? What evidence supports this belief? Modern science supports this. Cognitive behavioral therapy, inspired partly by Stoicism, teaches us to examine our thoughts, reframe cognitive distortions, and regain mental clarity. Exercise. Keep a clarity journal. At the end of each day, write down one emotionally charged event and walk through what really happened versus what you felt happened. The fog of life never clears entirely, but with discipline, you can learn to see through it. Chapter 2. The Enemies of Clear Thinking. To cultivate clear thinking, we must become familiar with its saboteurs, the enemies that invade our inner citadel. Emotion. When emotions run high, reason runs low. Anger distorts justice. Fear exaggerates danger. Desire weakens discipline. The Stoics didn't seek to suppress emotion, but to master it. To be aware of it without obeying it. We live by stories we tell ourselves. But how often do we challenge them? Seneca observed, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Do we assume someone dislikes us based on a glance? Do we assume failure from a single setback? Ego. The ego defends, denies, and demands. It cannot admit fault. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you are a tiny soul carrying a corpse. Brutal? Maybe. But humbling? Always. Impatience. In our age of speed, we want answers now. But clarity requires stillness. As Epictetus advised, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Wisdom takes time. Distractions, the constant ping of notifications. The lure of entertainment. The trap of comparison. These are the thieves of thought. Let's break this down with an example. You're arguing with someone online. You feel anger rise. What's happening? Emotion. Ego. Assumption. And the digital medium amplifies it. The Stoic approach would be to pause. Ask, what am I feeling? What's really being said? Does this deserve my energy? Modern Stoic thinkers like Massimo Pigliucci and Donald Robertson emphasize mindfulness as a modern tool for Stoic living. Practicing a moment of awareness before reacting can preserve clarity. Challenge. For one day, avoid all non-essential digital input. Reflect on how your thoughts change. 3. Stoic practices to cultivate clear thinking. Knowing the theory is one thing. Living it is another. Here are the core Stoic practices that build mental clarity. 1. Daily reflection. At night, review your day. Seneca said, "We must call ourselves to account." Ask, "What did I do well? Where did I err?" This is not self-criticism, it's self-correction. 2. Negative visualization. Imagine losing what you value, your job, your health, your loved ones. Not to cause pain, but to sharpen presence. This makes you less fearful and more grateful. 3. Dichotomy of control. Draw two circles. In one, list what you control, thoughts, actions, choices. In the other, what you don't, opinions of others, the economy, weather. Focus only on the first. 4. Journaling. Marcus Aurelius used his journal to converse with himself. You can do the same. Write freely. Ask questions. Clarify values. 5. Voluntary discomfort. Skip a meal. Sleep without a pillow. Walk instead of driving. These practices build mental toughness and remind us that comfort is not necessity. 6. Memento Mori. Remember death, not to be morbid, but to awaken urgency. When you realize life is finite, decisions become clearer. Implementation tips. Start each morning by reviewing your control circle. End each night with 3 questions. What did I do well? What could I do better? What will I change tomorrow? Set one discomfort challenge per week, fast for a day, take a cold shower, avoid screens for 24 hours. 4. Emotional mastery and rational response. Clear thinking is often drowned out by emotional noise. Fear, anger, envy, and grief, these are natural but potent disruptors. The Stoics didn't advocate for emotional numbness. They pursued a higher goal, emotional sovereignty. They believed that emotions, particularly destructive ones, arise from false beliefs or misplaced judgments. Seneca explained, "A wise man is free from passion, but not from feeling." Emotions must be understood and redirected, not denied. Let's consider a common modern stressor, social media. You see a post that makes you feel inferior. Your heart rate rises. You feel discontent. Pause. Ask, what belief is triggering this emotion? Is it the belief that others' curated lives reflect reality? Is it the assumption that success is a race? Epictetus taught that we suffer not from events, but from our interpretation of them. Reframing is key. You can think, "I'm falling behind," or reframe to, "Everyone has a different path. I'm focused on mine." A practical technique is the ABC model from modern Stoic-influenced psychology. A. Activating event, someone criticizes you. B. Belief, I must be liked by everyone. C. Consequence, hurt, anxiety. Change the belief, and you change the consequence. When triggered, pause and breathe deeply for 10 seconds. Then journal. What am I feeling? What belief is causing this? Is that belief true? Helpful? Replaceable? Over time, this mental habit becomes automatic. The mind becomes a still lake, reflecting clearly, not a stormy sea. Why? 5. Logos and living in accordance with nature. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the concept of logos, the rational principle that governs the universe. To live in accordance with nature, for the Stoics, meant to live in accordance with reason and virtue. Clear thinking, then, isn't just for solving problems. It's for living well. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "To live in harmony with the nature of things means to accept what you cannot control and to act justly on what you can." This worldview transforms how we see obstacles. What if the challenge is not blocking the path, but is the path? Ryan Holiday's book The Obstacle is the Way draws directly from this Stoic insight. Cato the Younger, a Roman statesman, refused to compromise his principles even under immense pressure. He lived by reason, not politics. Though it cost him influence, and eventually his life, his clarity of principle made him immortal in history. In modern life, this means saying no when pressured to betray your values, choosing honesty when it would be easier to lie, taking action even when uncertain, guided by reason over fear. A good question to ask, Is this in line with my nature as a rational, moral being? When facing a tough decision, write down, what does nature, reason, virtue, and my best self ask of me here? Living by logos isn't just philosophical. It's deeply practical. It centers you. 6. Applying Stoicism in modern life. How do we take these ancient insights and apply them to the modern world? Let's look at a few everyday contexts. 1. In relationships. Don't expect others to behave ideally. Expect them to act according to their nature. Epictetus said, when someone irritates you, it is your judgment that is irritating you. When annoyed, ask, what expectation did I place on them? Was it fair? Focus on effort, not outcome. If a meeting goes poorly, ask, did I prepare well? Did I act with integrity? If so, let go of the rest. 3. During crisis. Use Stoic triage. What must I accept? What can I act on? What can I let go? Seneca survived exile by reminding himself that virtue travels with the self. You don't lose yourself with your status. 4. With technology. Digital minimalism echoes Stoicism. Reduce distraction to enhance clarity. Tip: disable notifications. Set tech-free hours. Reclaim your mind. Modern Stoics like William Irvine suggest a tranquility garden, a place or routine where you renew clarity. This could be a daily walk, silent coffee, or screen-free evening. Apply this rule: before reacting, pause. Before deciding, journal. Before judging, question. 7. The Stoic mindset, cultivating a life of clarity and courage. Clarity isn't the absence of emotion or struggle. It is presence. It is showing up fully, aligned with reason and virtue, moment by moment. A Stoic mindset is grounded, sees things as they are. Grateful, values what is, not what's missing. Resilient, turns hardship into strength. Disciplined, acts by choice, not compulsion. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Clear thinking requires courage, the courage to face yourself, to abandon illusion, to walk the path of reason. Each morning, ask, what will I face today? What will be out of my control? What can I control? Each night, reflect. What did I do with my power? Where was I clear? Where was I cloudy? This cycle of awareness, reflection, and adjustment is how you sharpen your mind like a sword. The goal is not perfection. It is progress. Each moment you choose clarity over confusion, reason over impulse, virtue over vanity, you live like a Stoic. You think clearly. You live fully. 8. The dichotomy of control. Freedom begins here. Imagine trying to control the wind, the rain, or someone else's opinions of you. It's exhausting and impossible. The Stoics offered one of the most powerful frameworks for peace of mind, the dichotomy of control. This principle, central to Epictetus' teachings, says, some things are up to us. Some things are not. Up to us, our opinions, intentions, desires, aversions, and actions. Not up to us, the actions of others, the weather, the past, our body's eventual decline. This distinction is liberating. When we try to control the uncontrollable, we suffer. When we focus on what is ours, our choices, we find freedom. You send a message to a friend and receive no reply. Your mind spins. Are they angry? Did I do something wrong? Are they ignoring me? Stop. The response? Not up to you. The intention behind your message? Entirely within your power. Epictetus said, make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Create a 2-column journal. One side, up to me. The other, not up to me. When stressed, sort your thoughts. You'll be surprised at how much anxiety is tied to things beyond your control. In modern psychology, this aligns with the concept of locus of control. Those with an internal locus, belief that they shape their life through choices, are more resilient, successful, and mentally healthy. Repeat this Stoic affirmation daily: I control how I respond. That is enough. 9. Anticipating adversity, premeditatio malorum. To think clearly, we must stop being shocked by life. The Stoics practiced something radical, premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. It's not pessimism. It's preparation. Seneca wrote, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." In other words, if you prepare for difficulty, you lessen its sting. Consider, what if I lost my job? What if my plans failed? What if someone close to me let me down? Rather than suppressing these thoughts, Stoics faced them head-on. And by imagining the worst, they became unshakable. Before a big meeting, ask, what could go wrong? How will I respond? Before travel, what if there are delays? What if I get lost? Visualization strengthens resilience. Daily practice. Spend 2 minutes each morning imagining a challenge you may face today. Not with dread, with clarity. Marcus Aurelius, you will meet bad people today. So be ready to meet them with patience and calm. That's premeditatio malorum in action. Remember, prepared minds are clear minds. 10. Voluntary discomfort, training for toughness. Clear thinking often dissolves in the face of discomfort. But what if we practice discomfort, on purpose? The Stoics embraced voluntary discomfort. Seneca would sleep on the floor. Eat simple food. Wear rough clothing. Why? To remind himself that he could endure it. When you fear poverty, try living like you're poor. When you fear rejection, place yourself in uncomfortable social situations. This teaches 2 truths. You can handle more than you think. Much of your fear is illusion. Modern parallels. Cold showers. Fasting. Digital detoxes. Giving public speeches. These are controlled trials in hardship. Stoic exercise. Once a week, do something that makes you uncomfortable. Not dangerous, just unfamiliar. Reflect, was the fear worse than the reality? Seneca again. Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself, is this the condition that I feared? By leaning into discomfort, we reclaim our inner power. 11. Negative visualization, a Stoic superpower. We spend much of life wishing for more. But the Stoics asked a bold question. What if you imagined losing what you already have? This practice, called negative visualization, cultivates gratitude and prepares the mind for change. Seneca advised, he is a great man who uses earthenware dishes as if they were silver, but who uses silver as if it were earthenware. Imagine your home is gone. Your routine shattered. How would you cope? Visualize a loved one not being there tomorrow. How would you treat them today? It may seem morbid, but this makes you more present, not less. Gratitude isn't about acquiring more. It's about appreciating without possession. When you realize that everything is borrowed, you handle life more gently. Modern neuroscience shows that intentional negative visualization reduces attachment, builds resilience, and increases appreciation. Each morning or evening, reflect on something you value and picture it gone. Then return to the present with full appreciation. By confronting loss in the mind, we learn to live with open eyes. 12. Amor Fati, loving your fate. Not just accepting life. Loving it every part. That's Amor Fati, the love of fate. A concept echoed in Marcus Aurelius' Meditations and later expanded by Nietzsche. It means embracing everything that happens, the good, the bad, the unexpected as necessary, even beneficial. Marcus wrote, a blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. Here's the Stoic mindset. Traffic jam? An opportunity to practice patience. Illness? A teacher in health, strength, and humility. Betrayal? A test of your own integrity. Nothing happens to you, everything happens for you to grow. This mindset doesn't excuse injustice or invite passivity. It empowers you to extract meaning from all events. When something goes wrong, say aloud, Amor Fati. This too is part of my path. Journal the silver linings. What strength did this hardship give you? Like the Stoic fire, Convert every obstacle into fuel. 13. The view from above, gaining perspective. From a hilltop, the chaos of a city looks smaller. Stoics used a similar mental tool, the view from above. Imagine soaring high above your life. See the daily stressors, emails, delays, arguments from a cosmic perspective. Marcus Aurelius wrote about seeing the little dots of people and how from space, their worries seem trivial. This practice offers 3 key benefits. Detachment: you step outside your ego. Clarity: you see patterns, not noise. Compassion: you remember everyone struggles. When overwhelmed, close your eyes. Picture the Earth from orbit. Then zoom into your life. See the situation as a passing moment in a vast universe. Ask, will this matter in a week? A year? At the end of my life? Modern psychology calls this cognitive distancing. It creates space between stimulus and reaction, a cornerstone of emotional intelligence. The view from above is not denial. It's perspective. And with perspective comes peace. 14. Memento Mori, remember you must die. The phrase Memento Mori translates to, remember you must die. To the Stoics, this was not a morbid obsession, it was a profound invitation to live. Seneca wrote, let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. Why reflect on death? Because when you realize life is short, you stop wasting time. You speak more kindly. You forgive faster. You live more fully. Each morning, remind yourself, I could leave life right now. Let that determine what I do, say, and think. Marcus Aurelius frequently wrote about death in his meditations. Not with fear, with clarity. For him, it was the final teacher, revealing what truly matters. Modern psychologists confirm, people who reflect on mortality tend to prioritize meaning over materialism. So instead of ignoring death, invite it to sharpen your focus. To remind you that the time to act with virtue, clarity, and courage is now. 15. Controlling emotions, taming the inner fire. We often treat emotions like wild forces beyond our control. The Stoics disagreed. They believed emotions stem from our judgments, not the events themselves. Epictetus said, it's not things that upset us, but our opinions about them. You feel rage? It's because you judged something as unjust or disrespectful. You feel envy? It's because you judged someone else as more fortunate and yourself as lacking. Stoicism trains us to challenge those judgments. Pause before reacting. Ask, what story am I telling myself about this? Is it the only possible story? Is it wise? Marcus Aurelius offers this advice. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This isn't about repressing emotion, it's about tracing it to its root and choosing a wiser interpretation. The Stoic way is not cold. It's composed. Clear thinking begins where blind reaction ends. 16. The power of delayed response. A person honks at you in traffic. Your phone buzzes with criticism. You feel a surge of irritation. The untrained mind reacts immediately. The trained mind, the Stoic mind, delays. Seneca said, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. Because time gives you space. Space to see clearly, to choose wisely. In today's world, we are conditioned to respond instantly. Texts, emails, arguments. But speed is the enemy of clarity. When provoked, take 3 breaths. Say, let me get back to this. Revisit the situation with calm. Neuroscience backs this up. Delaying reactions engages the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational thought and self-control. Ask yourself, will this matter tomorrow? Is this worth my peace? What response aligns with my values? The Stoic doesn't suppress, they choose. Delayed response is not weakness. It's wisdom wearing armor. 17. Detachment, freedom from external outcomes. You can control your effort, but not the results. You can choose your actions, but not how the world responds. This is the core of Stoic detachment. Epictetus wrote, Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Modern life teaches us to obsess over outcomes, grades, promotions, likes, followers. But the Stoic separates process from result. Detachment is not apathy. It's power, the power to stay calm, focused, and free. Before a task, say, I will give my best, and accept what follows. After a failure, ask, did I act with integrity? Did I stay aligned with my values? Seneca reminds us, a wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not. Let go of what you cannot control. Return your focus inward. That's where peace lives. 18. Inner citadel, building an unshakable mind. Imagine a fortress within you, strong, silent, invulnerable. Marcus Aurelius called it the inner citadel, a place where your judgment remains uncorrupted, no matter what storms rage outside. He wrote, nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul. The Stoics knew that outer peace is unreliable. So they built inner peace, a mental sanctuary fortified by philosophy, discipline, and clear thought. How do you construct your inner citadel? Practice solitude. Reflect without distraction. Clarify your principles. What do you stand for? Train your mind like a muscle through daily journaling, meditation, and challenges. In a world that profits from your anxiety, building your inner citadel is an act of rebellion and liberation. Return to it often. Let it protect your clarity. 19. Practicing virtue, the ultimate measure. For the Stoics, the purpose of clear thinking wasn't efficiency. It wasn't success. It was virtue. They believed the only true good was moral character, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Seneca said, virtue is nothing else than right reason. Clear thinking helps you ask, is this action just? Does this choice reflect courage or fear? Am I indulging or showing restraint? Virtue is the North Star. Everything else, wealth, reputation, comfort, is secondary. In modern life, it's easy to get lost in metrics. But the Stoics urge us to judge ourselves not by what we achieve, but by how we behave. So practice virtue, daily. In speech. In choices. In silence. That is the true fruit of clear thinking. 20. Daily practice, the Stoic routine. Clear thinking is not a single decision, it's a discipline. And like any discipline, it requires practice. The Stoics developed daily habits to sharpen the mind and steel the soul. Morning reflection, set your intentions. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal every morning, reminding himself that challenges would come, and that he would meet them with reason. Midday mindfulness, during the day, pause to ask, am I reacting or responding? Am I living by reason or impulse? Evening review, before sleep, review your actions. What did you do well? Where did you fall short? Seneca said, when the light has been removed, I examine my entire day. Journaling, not for memory, but for mastery. Write your thoughts. Challenge your beliefs. Track your growth. Negative visualization, once a day, picture the loss of something you cherish. Then return to the present with gratitude. View from above, imagine your life from a cosmic scale. Put worries into perspective. This is not about perfection, but progress. The discipline of clear thinking is forged moment by moment, thought by thought, choice by choice. So start small. Start now. The path is ancient, but your steps are new. As we conclude this journey, remember, the discipline of clear thinking is not reserved for philosophers or monks. It is for anyone who wants to live with purpose. In a world that often confuses movement with progress, noise with wisdom, and reaction with action, Stoicism invites us to pause. To ask, what truly matters? What is in my control? What kind of person do I want to be? We've seen how ancient tools, from negative visualization to the evening review, remain profoundly relevant. We've learned that virtue is the compass. That emotion is not the enemy, but a signal to be understood. That clarity is not something you stumble upon, but something you train. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This is your path now. Not because it is easy, but because it is worth it. So in moments of doubt, return to your breath. Return to your journal. Return to the present. Build your inner citadel. Act with virtue. Think clearly. The ancient world has spoken. Now, it's your turn to live these truths. Clarity is discipline. Virtue is direction. Stoicism is the way. Thank you for watching.